Well, hello and welcome to a new video. We're going to take a look at the performance of the Radeon 680M APU here in Apex Legends. And we're gonna play this at 1080p as soon as I can actually select 1080p here. Let's go and do that. Because obviously 1080p is going to be around the resolution that most of your laptops are going to run on. Alright, and we're playing this at 1080p and basically lowish settings. Basically most of it turned to low. So yeah, I have great hopes for this card and I'm really curious to find out just how well this will run. Alright, let's just go somewhere down where we're not immediately killed. Even though it actually would be fine due to the fact that we can spectate other players. Alright. I'm just gonna go down here. But yeah, it is looking not too shabby for this card. Even though, I mean, it has around the 1050 Ti potential. That is everything I've heard so far. And oh, Jesus Christ, why are you coming to me, man? Meh. What do you want from me? I can't see anything because I'm behind a camera. Okay, but I guess this guy is also sitting behind a camera. Alright, never mind then. Okay, so around the 1050 Ti mark is what we should be expecting this card to deliver here. Obviously you can see the textures are not loaded because I have turned them off because there is no texture streaming budget available for this card in here. Even though you could potentially size it up to 8 GB in the BIOS, which I did, but it seems to me that this laptop either does not give anything about what I'm doing here, because inside the system, when you're going to the task manager, it still shows that it's just having 512 megabytes of dedicated vRAM. So yeah, obviously that is annoying, and that means that you are better off, at least in my case, not selecting any streaming budget at all. But apart from that, this is playing pretty nicely right now. I mean, I've played it in the test area for a minute when I got this laptop earlier today, and it really was rough playing there. Like, you had a lot of lag spikes, which were getting better once you started playing the game a little bit more and a little bit longer. But yeah, I don't really see any of that right now. Like, it's pretty high FPS all around and no dips anywhere to be found. So yeah, that is obviously what we want to see. And I'm perfectly happy with the performance that we're getting right here. Obviously, it's going to drop a lot harder when we are in FPS, when we are not looking outside the map, what we are doing right now. But instead are inside the map. Yeah, it's dropping to the 70s here. And are actually facing some enemies. In which case, we definitely will see drops to, I guess, to the 40s. That should be right, something around that. Like, if we're facing enemies and you have a Bangalore ult and something like a Gibraltar ult. And you can see these frame time graph spikes, which are absolutely noticeable and very much annoying. So yeah, I actually did have very, very high hopes, and my expectations were very high concerning this APU, obviously because of all the hype that it has been getting over the last months when it was released in 2022, 2023. And yeah, I can see why it's being hyped, but honestly, on the other side, I can also see that my dedicated T2000 graphics card inside the Dell Precision 5540 from 2019 is still completely mopping the floor with this one. Simply due to the fact that you have your dedicated 4 GB of vRAM memory, which admittedly is not too much, but it makes a lot of the games run a heck of a lot smoother, and you don't see spikes like this here. Like, I have never seen Apex Legends actually spiking and having performance issues, so this is pretty not cool in my eyes. Okay, and I guess nobody wants to fight us. Then we'll just force them to. Where are they going? Why are you running? Oh, there you're running. So yeah, I mean, you can see that the potential is there. Like, you have the 90 FPS here, you have the 70 FPS. So I would even say this is a little bit faster than a 1050 Ti in this title, if it wasn't dropping all this much. Like, really, if you didn't have these frame time spikes every here and then, and every now and then this would be a much more pleasant experience. So yeah, I am not 100% convinced so far. And yeah, in other titles as well, I was really hoping for a little better performance. And I mean, you can see this obviously is the U CPU and not the H CPU, so we're drawing less power, or this CPU can draw less power than it could on potentially these other CPUs. But my big but here in this case simply is the fact that most of you who have an 6800H or 6800HS in their system will have a dedicated GPU in there as well. So you won't really have to rely on this. So the U CPUs obviously are the more interesting ones, where you actually are going to see people actually use them to play games. And yeah, for this title, I would say it is, realistically speaking, you can play it, and I would also say you could, in most scenarios, play it. I mean, at 1080p, obviously, you could also go down to 900p, but that will give you a disadvantage compared to other players who are playing at a higher resolution. And you can play this competitively. Obviously, you can't play it against bots, so you will play it competitively, and you can play a casual round after work, but it's not going to be a reliable experience 100% of the time. So I wouldn't really want to play and try to get to Apex Predator rank just playing here on this little guy.